When I first started using revision, I totally overcomplicated it. I felt like I had to fix every single bad memory or negative experience. And let me tell you, it left me feeling more stressed than free. I even tried to erase health conditions, thinking I could make them disappear entirely, which you can heal. I've done lots of videos on that and I've had great successes, but that's not how revision works, though, by doing it from that stressed out, frantic, fearful place. In this video, I'm going to share how to use revision the correct and more efficient or right way without overcomplicating it or re traumatizing yourself, so you can truly release the weight of your past and align with your growth. Welcome back, guys. It's Jess here, and today we're diving into revision, one of, I think, Neville Goddard's most powerful teachings for transforming your perception of the past. Revision isn't about pretending the past didn't happen or forcing yourself to change everything you wish had gone differently. Instead, it's about shifting how you feel and what you believe about those experiences so they no longer have a negative hold on you. But here's something important. If you've experienced complex trauma, revision can be a delicate process. In this video, I'll explain why you don't need to dig up every painful memory to make progress, and why working with someone trained in trauma-informed practices like myself can help make the journey smoother. Even just watching these videos and really paying attention to the stuff I say about trauma-informed work when doing anything. So, if you've been overcomplicating revision or feeling stuck, this video is for you. Let's simplify it and make it work for you. So, what revision is and isn't, according to my beliefs and my experiences and my interpretation of this, which is just not, it's my viewpoint. Other teachers and coaches will say other things. Pick what resonates with you. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But maybe just try to be a little curious and open-minded here. So, revision, as Neville Goddard taught, isn't about erasing or denying the past. It's about transforming how you perceive and feel about it, changing the way you experienced it, how you experienced it. The 3D world, the physical, external reality that you experience, might seem fixed, but your inner world is fluid and ever-changing. Revision focuses on that inner reality, helping you rewrite the emotional and mental narrative around past events. It's important to note that we're not revisiting the past to re-traumatize ourselves. If you've experienced complex trauma, it's essential to approach this practice gently. Working with a trauma-informed practitioner can make all the difference, ensuring you feel supported and safe as you move through this process. And maybe you don't need that. Maybe you're okay and you believe that. And I think that's awesome. For myself, through my journey of having a lot of complex trauma throughout my younger years, I sought out the support and the help from people who have been through PTSD and overcame it. And I trusted in those mentors, coaches, healers, and guides that I had. And I went to school and furthered my education and training so I could better support you guys. So I'm teaching from experience personally and professionally. So, my early mistakes with revision. When I first started using revision, I made the mistake of trying to revise everything I didn't like in my life. I would dig up old memories and try to rewrite them, thinking I could erase them completely, like health conditions. And instead of feeling empowered, I felt stressed and resistant. Why? Because I wasn't approaching revision with the right mindset. I was focusing on fixing what I thought was broken, which only amplified the negative energy I was trying to escape. And this kept me in survival mode and increased my cortisol stress levels. And I was operating from survival and not thriving, which was, all part of what was primarily built into my operating system throughout years of having complex trauma. And every time I would watch a video, I would get more overwhelmed and stressed because I was operating from that headspace, which is understandable. I have revised my experience of that as well. And I can now share about this without being emotionally charged, without feeling shame or guilt or embarrassment. So, yeah. Why you don't need to dig or force revision. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that you don't need to go digging for things to revise. If you start searching for every painful memory, you might end up causing more harm than good. Instead, trust that the memories or situations that need revisiting will naturally come up as you go about your day or reflect on your life. When when these moments arise, they're showing up because they're ready to be released. You don't need to force anything or rush the process. Revision is most effective when it's done with ease and intention, not stress or urgency. Come back into your heart space and let your heart lead the mind. Don't get the mind leading the heart. So, how revision works. The goal of revision is to change the emotional charge around a memory. And memory is imagination. You're not pretending that it didn't happen. You're simply transforming how it feels to you. And you could choose to make it more empowering, more lovely. And here's a way that you can approach it. Instead of replaying the memory in your mind, focus on the feeling that you want to shift. For example, if you regret something you said in the past, simply imagine how you would have liked to respond in that situation differently. You don't need to relive it. You just need to shift the emotional response to something that feels more aligned with your highest and best self. By replacing those negative emotions like guilt, regret, or fear with feelings of joy, happiness, peace, contentment, satisfaction, or love, you begin to rewrite the emotional narrative around that event. This helps you release the weight of the past and to embrace a new, more lighter way of living. Isn't that lovely? So, one thing that I learned through my studies is some neuro-linguistic programming, and one thing being anchoring with revision. So, this one powerful tool I've personally used with revision is NLP anchors. So, this technique involves associating a specific image or feeling with the shift that you want to create. For example, when I was revisiting a situation where there was hostility between me and another person, I imagined them wearing a pink tutu and they were pole dancing. And it was something so out of the ordinary that helped me break the emotional charge I had toward that person. Instead of feeling angry or hostile, I began to associate the situation with humor and lightness. And you know what? Since that revision technique, since I used that, we haven't had any conflict in 3 years. The emotional charge shifted and the dynamic changed completely. I just talked to them the other day about New Year's Eve. So you can use NLP anchors to shift the energy around any event. Just imagine something completely out of place or humorous that changes your emotional response. This can be an incredibly effective way to transform your feelings about past events. So, why it's safe to start small. If you're new to revision or feeling unsure, start with something small, a minor regret or situation that doesn't carry as heavy of an emotional weight. So you're going to think about the event, but focus only on the feeling that you want to change. If you feel comfortable to reflect on it, go for it. Maybe while you're in a relaxed state, maybe sit in a comfortable yogic posture and do some breathing and then connect. And then you're going to imagine that you feel differently about it. Maybe you feel calm, peaceful, or you have an understanding, a mental agreement, emotional agreement within. Focus on that new emotional response, not the details of the event. The simple approach helps you ease into revision without overwhelming yourself. And you can practice this daily. You'll feel like it just gets easier and easier as you exercise that muscle. So, working with complex trauma. For those of you who have experienced complex trauma, I highly recommend that you work with someone trained in trauma informed practices, whether that's a therapist or a coach like myself. Trauma can bring up layers of emotions and memories that might feel too overwhelming to handle alone. And it's important to have support as you navigate this journey. If you feel called to begin revision, start with the lighter moments and know that you're not alone. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to take things at your own pace. And I'm going to share some key lessons that I've learned. Revision isn't about erasing the past, but it's about transforming your emotional connection to it. You don't need to dig up every painful memory. Trust that what needs revising will come up naturally. If you're experiencing complex trauma, approach revision with care and consider working with a trauma-informed practitioner. Replace negative emotions with feelings of joy, peace, love, and contentment to change how the past affects your present and your future. And I also want to say gratitude, appreciation, and acceptance fit in very nicely with this. You can use NLP anchors to shift your emotional response to past events by associating them with something lighthearted or unexpected. So, have you tried revision before? What's been your experience with it? Did you feel like you were overcomplicating it? Or has it helped you release something from your past? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions you have about this practice. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might benefit from it, and subscribe for more content on the law of assumption, manifestation, and healing. Remember, you don't need to tackle everything at once. Start small, be gentle with yourself, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video. I love you guys.